You a couple ways on how to change a grinding disc. Now, one, obviously use a grinding disc wrench, right? So you want to make sure your grinder's unplugged for the most part till you get really familiar with this, because you don't want this turning on and whipping you in the face. So a lot of times these spacings in these things are different. So what you can do is you can kind of put them on one hole and pin it up against the other and open it up, right? So I'll tighten this up. This is usually how I just tighten a grinding disc, just with my hand, and it's pretty good. The other one is welding pliers. So you can get welding pliers, put it in the pins, and you just turn it. Sometimes if it's really jammed in there and you just have welding pliers, you know, I've put these in a vise before and turned these. Another one is, this is kind of last resort, because these are usually hardened. So you can get a normal pair of vice grips. And this is like if it's really on there, but usually, you know, and it's, you know, that's pretty self-explanatory. And then the last way, and I only do this, I'll use a hard disk as an example. So hard disk, obviously there's a recess on one side. That's for the zip disk, because there's a centering shoulder here. Okay, for a hard disk, quarter one, this is 1/4 inch thick. This has a boss on it, and you want to get the boss going towards the hard disk. Okay, and then so let's say I'll plug it in and show you. Okay. See, that's good. You hold the stop in and you just tap the corner, okay? And that's how it comes off. Works for hard disks, flop disks, not great. Sometimes you get to the end of a zip disk, and this is another good example. You get to the end of a zip disk, okay? And you know you're not gonna reuse this. So sometimes what I do is, again, I'll just find a nice sharp corner and then break it off. Sometimes, like I said, when you use the whole zip disk up, that's kind of the easiest way to take them off. But don't be doing that if you know there's life left in a zip disk, because they're like $3 to $5 now, I think, a piece. So just a couple ways to do it. So welding pliers is pretty much my go-to. These wrenches are kind of not the best, and usually this is only if it's super stuck on there. But 99% of the time, I just kind of tap them off like this, or I can get it off with my hands. So I'll show you that. So you can get it off with your hands if you can. But I'll use my hands, and if I can't, I'll tap it off, and then beyond that, I'll use a welding pliers. So there's a couple different ways. Another trick, when you get your grinder, this is the first thing that disappears. Usually, this isn't the right wrench for this, but usually what I kind of do is I'll get a lock washer, and I'll open up the lock washer, and I'll put the lock washer through there and close it, almost like a keychain ring, and usually it stays on there. So that's a little pro tip there too.